الناس وناس يحاولوا كمان يزروا كثير زيادة برضه بتكثف من مجاهدة لأنه لأنه حاجات كله جاي من دول اللي برا. لو حاجات قاعدين نزروا ذاته بيتنا أكيد شوية بيخفف حاجات ده ما بكون خالي مرة واحد لهذه الدرجة. ولا لو معقولات لو ملابس يعني أي حاجة بجد خالي في السوق. لو مشي ذات عشر ربو لحمة تلقاه بثمانية ونص تاني محل بكذا يعني سعر ما ثابت. إذا مشي ذاته محل مثلا تبي روس ولا عدس تلقى عدس محل تاني ربو برا وسعر تاني محل برا وحتى السوق يعني حاجات سعره ما واحد في السوق. يعني إيه زول بسعر حاجة بتاعه برا يعني سعر ما ثابت. حتى بالنسبة للملابس يعني حاجات برضو سعر ما ثابت بجد يعني ده حاجات الخالي في السوق لنا نحن تعبانين بجد نحن معاتمين ده.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio 1 o'clock news. First, here are the headlines. Some members of the public are urging the new Chief Justice to reform South Sudan's judiciary to deliver justice and serve the people. Officials from South Sudan's National Elections Commission have received training on how to fairly distribute constituencies ahead of the country's general elections in 2026. And a regional meeting held in Entebbe, Uganda on Wednesday called on member states to strictly adhere to the Peace, Security and Cooperation Agreement and to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Baria Johnson, and now the news in detail. Some members of the public are urging the new Chief Justice to reform South Sudan's judiciary to deliver justice and serve the people. They blame the judiciary for lacking integrity and failing to serve the people. This comes after President Salva Kiir on Tuesday removed Chief Justice Chandrej Madut and his deputy Dr. John Gatwich Lul from their positions. Their dismissal was announced in a Republican decree read on state-run TV SSBC. In a separate decree, President Kiir appointed Dr. Benjamin Bakdeng as the new Chief Justice and Laku Tranquilo Nyombe as his deputy. Justice Chandrej Madut had served as Chief Justice since August 2011, making him one of the longest-serving government officials since the country gained independence. However, during his time in office, the judiciary faced constant criticism from the public over failure to uphold the rule of law. Earlier this year, a report by the Judicial Reform Committee revealed that many people in South Sudan have lost trust in the judiciary. The report pointed to interference by some executive officials and called for reforms to make the judiciary more independent. In March, a group of South Sudanese lawyers threatened to petition President Kiir to remove the Chief Justice. Speaking to the group, senior advocate Kiir Choldeng accused the Chief Justice of failing to deliver justice and said the judiciary was in a poor state. Following Tuesday's changes, some citizens welcomed the president's decision and called for urgent reforms. Akol, a resident of Wau in western Bahr el Ghazal state, said the judiciary must be reformed to ensure fair justice. He spoke on iRadio's Dawn Show.
لانه مظلومين كله في جنوبين القاعدين كله في قبائل حاليا بقى زول اللي عنده قروي في يده يحبهم يبدلوا القانون في يده وقانون بقى ما في محله البخلي زول انه زول ده حتى لو كان هو 4% يلقى حق بتاعه في امام القانون بقى ما في لانه فيها تعريف قاعدين يعملوا بطريقه ذات ما في اما وراء ذات القبائل كله بتنشال كله كيس كله بيخش في السوق وانا ما الا الرئيس الجديد الجاي ده خليه يجيب حاجه بتاع الناس كله عشان يكون في بريدات مخاطر وانه يقدر انه يطير السوق كله في جنوب السودان عشان يصور لما نكون قاعد البلد بيكون كويس لانه زول البارب قانون يا بخلي زول بيكون في ماله.
Sultan Joseph, a resident of Juba, said the former Chief Justice had stayed in office for too long without making meaningful changes. He described the judiciary as being crippled.
محاكمات راكب شديد انا شخصيا يعني كان عندي يعني ولد بتاعي يعني 3 سنه وده يعني جناي ما في جناي بقى 3 سنه ولا 2 يا جماعه ده كله تماثل من القضاء لازم المحاكم ده اذا كان هو نجاح يعني نجاح البلد المحاكمات تعبانه شديد شديد يتكلم المحاكمات دي يعدلوا ويكون لقضاء شباب ولا جاي سماع عشان المحاكمات دي يا جماعه كما بقانون بلنو ماشي في فوضى عديد كده بلا كده هناك قضايا زول معقوم جوا هناك يقول زول متزن يقول ليشنو كل قضايا ده يكون مستقل كل قضايا ده بيكون سريع كل قضايا ده مواطن ما يكون تعبان.
David Magog, another resident of Wau, said the new leaders must prove themselves by improving access to justice across the country. He urged the new Chief Justice and his deputy to visit states and administrative areas to understand the challenges faced by the courts.
For the relieving of Chief Justice, we cannot blame him because he was not supervised. If he was supervised by the other group, he would have been do better more than. Because since they are being appointed, they remain in Juba until somebody is relieved from position, and they don't come to states. If you come to the 10 states now, like example where I am, you can get the prison is full with more than 1,000 plus, and it was constructed by the British only for 300. Now is more than 1,000 plus, and these people, both of them were not fined. Some are being only waiting. The rest were fined. Some even they did not see even the lawyer in the court, so that they even know whether they are being fined or they are guilty or they are free. They will not even know. But all of them are being taken to the prison.
Edmond Yakani, Executive Director of Community Empowerment for Progress Organization, said the new judicial leadership must be independent and non-partisan. He called for a national judicial conference to discuss reforms with legal experts.
Our judiciary commit themselves to their mandate, which is required by the Constitution, to be an independent organ of the government, to remain non-partisan, should not be influenced by any political establishment or party in the country, and to ensure that the respect for human rights and the enhancement of rule of law is taken seriously by the government institution as per the provisions of our existing laws. The pressure the new incoming leadership of judiciary will undertake are very robust, and it is very numerous. So our expectation is to see the newly appointed leadership to the judiciary undertake the required judiciary reform as enshrined in the report handed over to His Excellency President on judiciary reforms, and we hope that His Excellency President will have the political will to ensure that judiciary deliver what is required from them in relation to judiciary reforms, and also in relation to their mandate of standing up as an independent judiciary and non-partisan judiciary.
Officials from South Sudan's National Elections Commission have received training on how to fairly distribute constituencies ahead of the country's general elections in 2026. George Stansiata, the spokesperson of the commission, said the training was conducted virtually on Wednesday by experts from the International Foundation for Electoral Systems and the United Nations. Yata said the session covered important topics such as legal frameworks, population data, allocation of geographical constituencies, and the use of geographic information systems. The training was led by Dr. Lisa Handley, a senior international electoral consultant and an expert in constituency delimitation. The training comes at a critical time as the country prepares for its first general elections since the signing of the 2018 peace deal. However, political tensions between the unity government and the SPLM-IO continue to threaten the peace process. The elections were initially scheduled for December 2024 but were pushed to December 2026 after the parties to the peace agreement agreed to an extension of the transitional period. Observers have raised concerns over delays in key parts of the peace deal. This include the unification of armed forces, the making of the permanent constitution, and the conduct of a national population census. The United Nations has also warned that South Sudan may not be ready to hold elections. Last year, Jean Pire, the UN and the Secretary General for Peace Operations said poorly managed elections could lead to serious consequences, including violence and instability. UN Special Representative Nicholas Haysom also noted that the country lacks the right environment for credible elections, pointing to economic challenges, climate shocks, and the ongoing political tensions. A regional meeting held in Entebbe, Uganda on Wednesday called on member states to strictly adhere to the Peace, Security and Cooperation Agreement and to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The one-day meeting brought together top leaders from Angola, Burundi, the Republic of the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Rwanda, South Africa, and South Sudan. A joint communique stated that the heads of states and government discussed recent developments in the Great Lakes region, particularly on security and humanitarian issues in the region, including ongoing peace efforts to address the crisis in eastern DRC. The leaders emphasized the urgent need to combat the illicit exploitation and trade of natural resources, which remain significant drivers of instability in the region. They called for enhanced efforts to promote responsible and transparent management of these resources. This, the leaders said, should be done in line with the recommendations from the high-level regional workshop held in Khartoum, Sudan in 2021, as well as sanctions outlined at the 30th November 2006 International Conference on the Great Lakes region on combating illicit exploitation of natural resources. Regarding Sudan, the regional leaders called for increased cooperation to prevent the flow of arms into the country in line with the UN Security Council arms embargo. They also called for an immediate halt to drone attacks on Port Sudan, which serves as a temporary hub for humanitarian agencies assisting affected civilians. The leaders underscored that these attacks threaten Red Sea security and the safety of humanitarian operations. They also rejected all forms of external interference in the Sudan conflict and encouraged dialogue. On DRC, the leaders expressed deep concern over the deteriorating security situation in eastern DRC, where civilians have been displaced and serious conflict-related sexual violence has been committed. They condemned territorial advances and the establishment of parallel administrations by the M23, AFC, and called for the swift and full implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 2773/2025, which demands de-escalation and peaceful resolution of the conflict. After careful review, the meeting adopted the action plan, emphasizing the continued relevance of the PSC framework as a key mechanisms to address the root causes of instability in the eastern DRC and the wider region. You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News. The Commissioner of Magwi County, Benjamin Polepole, reports that the border area with neighboring Lamour district has remained peaceful since January, with no renewed encroachment by the Ugandan army. Local border communities have been able to continue their farming activities without disruption. Mr. Polepole attributes this stability to improved cooperation between South Sudan and Ugandan authorities following a cross-border security meeting held in October 2024. During this meeting, both parties agreed that no cross-border activities, such as renting land for farming, should take place without the knowledge and approval of the local leaders. He noted that before this agreement, some Ugandan farmers had claimed ownership of land inside Magui County, causing misunderstanding. The new arrangements have helped to address these issues and foster peaceful coexistence along the border. Pole Pole explains.
Magui is peaceful all over in terms of rain, in terms of border cooperation with our counterpart, the services, schools, work, everything is going normal. We mean like previously there was issue of social encroachment where our community were reporting on a daily basis. Currently, those kind of things have reduced, but the new encroachment has not been recorded. Almost for the whole of this month, starting from January up to now. It is good. That is why I'm saying the cooperation it is engaged, because we had several meetings with our counterpart where we pointed out that as we, the head of the securities, any move by the military or by the security committee should be with the knowledge of the two leaders, the commissioner of the county in the Republic of South Sudan and his counterpart, the RDC.
The commissioner of Akobo County in Jonglei State says a major bridge that will connect the county to Pochala, the Gambela region in Ethiopia and Kenya, is almost complete. James Kweth Makwach told iRadio that the bridge is one of several key projects aimed at rebuilding the area after years of conflict. He said the bridge will improve transport, boost trade, and make movement easier for local communities once it is completed. The commission also revealed that the county will soon open a primary school to give children better access to education. He said the county is working with the State Minister of Education, Kong Bar Malieth, to improve the condition of the secondary school so it can serve students better. Commissioner Makwach added that he recently visited Akobo County Hospital with State Minister of Health. During the visit, they encouraged residents to share their concerns about health services. He also said his administration is working with the State Agriculture Ministry to launch new programs to support local farmers to fight food insecurity. Makwach pointed out that development in the area had stalled due to the 2013 conflict. He is now urging development partners to take advantage of the current peace to help deliver essential services to the people. And finally, the Commission of Terkeka County in Central Equatoria State has raised concern over poor conditions at the county prison, citing overcrowding, lack of hygiene, and inadequate resources. During an inspection visit on Thursday morning, Commissioner Emmanuel Loku said the prison is currently holding 86 inmates, including 7 women and 10 juveniles, many of whom are still awaiting trial. He said the facility has no separate room for juveniles, and inmates are forced to sleep on bare floors without mattresses or bed sheets. Loku said the situation puts inmates at risk of skin diseases and called for urgent intervention from authorities and humanitarian organizations. He also pointed out lack of food, medical supplies, and an office for prison administration. The commissioner noted the absence of judicial officers and public prosecutors, which has delayed many pending cases. He spoke to iRadio via phone this morning.
Wannan mashat sijin digir na zai da tadiyar katir. Number 1, tadiyar kabirin da mana fi maduk da yani fi mind rooms le children. Kulu nasa kan sijin digir tun kan kulu 680 nasa. Nasande kan 7. Kulu mahkumin. Nasande kulu mahkumin. Rojalle ano fi muntazirin fi mahkumin. Adad piton kulu 680 nasa. Falle zai 10. Falle 10. Atfalo rojalle ma rojal ko barakum gadin sawa. Mindum fersha, mindum matra, mindum ajab tanum sarar maafi. Indum amrat jildiya katir. Ko de indicated na de sabab ta num fiturable wasaka katir yao jaba ajade kulu. Zana prison zato real mindum maktab ta mushkil ta akil. Indum akil gara fi contractor bijibu akil bosi ta shahar umara to delay 3 to 4 months ma bijibu. Lata data wano ganita funu menda na guda hina fi isimde. Ni hapa guda kulu ma fitakeka. Almuntazirin del unazal mahkumin del maftari no gade kun gari basanan lo fa zale no we go and ask opinion.
You're listening to iRadio News, and now to the regional and international news with Madrama James.
A South African woman convicted of kidnapping and trafficking her 6-year-old daughter has been sentenced to life in prison along with her 2 accomplices. The jail terms are for Raquel Kelly Smith, her boyfriend Jacqueline Apollis, and their friend Stefano Van Royas come more than a year after Jocelyn Smith mysteriously disappeared outside her home in Saldanha Bay near Cape Town. Despite a highly publicized search for the girl, who vanished in February 2024, she is yet to be found. Elsewhere, the UN's World Food Programme WFP says that bodies of hungry people have broken into a food supply warehouse in central Gaza. 2 people are reported to have died and several others injured in the incident, the program said, adding that it was still confirming details. Video footage from AFP news agency showed crowds breaking into the Al Ghafari warehouse in Dar al-Bala and taking bags of flour and cartons of food as gunshots rang out. It was not immediately clear where the gunshots came from. Finally, a U.S. federal court has blocked President Donald Trump's sweeping tariff in a major blow to a key component of his economic policies. The Court of International Trade ruled that an emergency law invoked by the White House did not give the president unilateral authority to impose a tariff on nearly every country. The Manhattan-based court said that the U.S. Constitution gave the Congress exclusive powers to regulate commerce with other nations, and this was not subsided by the president's remit to safeguard the economy.
Thank you, Madrama. And now to the sports news with Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
Qatar FC has officially secured second place in the South Sudan Premier League after a decisive 3-1 victory over Olympic Rang in their final match of the 20th week. Qatar ends the season with 62 points, while Olympic Rang finishes in 10th place with 23 points. The league title remains up for grabs as Jammus FC, also with 62 points, prepares to face last place Nile City, who have only 5 points. With 2 postponed matches still to play, Jammus has a clear chance to clinch the championship. Wajuma Awil will take on Koryombor in an effort to close the 5-point gap. Wajuma stands at 35 points from 24 matches, while Koryombor sits at 40 points. In the highly anticipated Bentiu Derby, Al Merrikh will face off against City. Al Merrikh, currently with 52 points, is aiming for a win to overtake Holy Family and claim 3rd place. Holy Family has completed their season, while Al Merrikh still has 2 games in hand. City, on the other hand, is looking to leapfrog Olympic Rang into 10th place with only 1 point separating the two. Chelsea came from behind to beat Real Betis in the UEFA Conference League final and become the first team to complete a clean sweep of European club trophies. With the Blues 25 minutes away from defeat, Cole Palmer turned on the class to set up goals for Enzo Fernandez and Nicolas Jackson with crosses from the right. Fernandez nodded in from Palmer's in-swinger, and Jackson then bundled in with his chest at the near post 5 minutes later. Sancho made it comfortable with a lovely curling finish from fellow substitute Kiernan's pass. And finally, in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder have a lot more work to do after reaching their first NBA Finals since 2012 with a win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The NBA's most valuable player, MVP, Shai, scored 34 points, 7 rebounds and 8 assists in the 124-94 points victory as the Thunder won the best of 7 Western Conference Finals series 4-1. The Thunder remain on course for a first NBA title, having been beaten by the Miami Heat in 2012. That's all from the world of sports, and back to you, Baria Johnson.
You're listening to iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. Some members of the public are urging the new Chief Justice to reform South Sudan's judiciary to deliver justice and serve the people. Officials from South Sudan's National Elections Commission have received training on how to fairly distribute constituencies ahead of the country's general elections in 2026. And a regional meeting held in Entebbe, Uganda on Wednesday called on member states to strictly adhere to the Peace, Security and Cooperation Agreement and to respect each other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1/2 the hour. I am Baria Johnson. Thanks for listening.